I've previously done the play-along video, now this is the tutorial for it, okay? So this is going to give you the nuts and bolts of what everything is doing and how to do it and how to play it, okay? What you then need to do is take that away, practice the sections, put them together, build it up, practice to the music, and then hopefully within a short amount of time you'll be able to master how to play it without any problems. I'm presuming some level of competency in terms of how you hold the sticks, how you sit, how you set the kit up, okay? We'll rock you. You open up your red book, it's page 19, this is the one that we're looking at. Immediately it starts chatting about some key things for this song. It says rock, so that's the genre or the style of music that we're playing in. We're playing rock, okay? It also has a quarter note, a little black quarter note there, with an equals 80, okay? So that's telling you that it's at 80 beats per minute, each quarter note, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is at 80 beats per minute. And you get a 2-bar count in with the music, okay? So 80 beats per minute sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not very fast. You've got to try and stick to it. The key is not speeding up too much and not dragging way behind you too slow. Okay, so you're going to have to work on that a little bit. Right, what else does it say in this first bar? It also says you've got 2 4s, okay, at the start of the bar. That tells me that there are 4 beats in each bar. So when you're counting along to your click, you're counting 4 beats. Okay, next bit. We are looking a little bit further down on that first bar and there's an F, okay? Now some of you might know what the F means, but if you don't, it's a classical term for the dynamics. So the dynamics are the volume, okay? So F is forte, so it's loud. So we've got to play loud for the whole of this song. Other than that, in terms of markings and key things that you need to know at the start, that's it, okay? So this is the verse section.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place. Singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street. Gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace. Waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will.
So let's focus on this first bar groove. I'm going to break it down for you, then we're going to talk about how many times, how many bars or measures we need to play it for, okay? So this first bar groove is 2 bass drums and a snare. So you go bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare. So we get 1 and on the bass drum, 2 on the snare, 3 and on the bass drum, 4 on the snare. So it's going to sound like this. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 2 bass drums, snare, 2 bass drums, snare. That pattern is going to be played at 80 beats per minute. So how fast is 80 beats per minute? Okay, so that's how fast it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's our groove and how fast we're going to play it. Remember, 1 bar of groove sounds like this. Okay, and we're going to play that 8 times.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place. Singing, we will
that takes us up to the second part of our verse, okay, where the groove slightly changes. Okay, so we're going to start on our third line down on page 19 now, which is the second half of the verse, okay? So like we had bass, bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, now we're going to add a hand over the top of the bass drums, okay? And our hand is going to play on the floor tom, which is this one here, okay? And our right hand is going to play with, at the same time as our bass drum foot, and it's going to go 1 and 2, 3 and 4, okay? So just to recap, that's going to be 1 and, okay, with the bass drum, 2 on the snare, 3 and with the bass drum, and 4 on the snare. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, at 80 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, one time round sounds like this, or one bar sounds like this. Okay, and you need, for the second part of the chorus, you're going to have to play that for 7 bars, okay? So that's 7 times of that one pattern.
Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will.
So in order to get used to playing that many times, you're just going to have to build it up slowly, okay? Practice, listen to the music, try and practice along. Do it slowly, then build it up, okay? Okay, so when we play that groove with the floor tom and the bass drum, you're going to play that 7 times. Once we played it 7 times, we reach the 16th bar, okay? And on the 16th bar of our verse, we have a fill, okay? And the fill is going to take us into the guitar solo. This fill's quite a nice one. So what you get a crash and a bass drum together on beat 1, okay? 1. There's a rest on beat 2, so you're going 1, rest on beat 2, then you're going to go 3 and on the snare, and then you're going to go 4 E and D. Okay, so when we put that all together, we get 1 on the crash, rest, 3 and 4 E and D. So it's going to sound like this. Rest. Hey guys, I've just got to apologise for the view that will change because the camera stopped filming the front of the kit for some reason. Don't know why, oops. So when I'm teaching, I've got a couple little tricks to help my students remember the rhythms and how to play them. So a quarter note I call beans, okay? So beans, rest, and then I would call the 3 and, the 2/8 notes, bake beans, okay? And then the 4 notes at the end, fire engine, instead of going 4 E and D. So it would go beans, rest, bake beans, fire engine. So it would sound like this. Beans, rest, bake beans, fire engine. At tempo, at 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crash, rest, bake beans, fire engine. So that's our fill on the 16th bar of the verse. You're going to have to put those 2 different grooves together, practice them. So the first groove of the verse, remember it's just bass, drum and snare, and you play that for 8 bars, okay? Then there's a transition to adding the hand in on the 9th bar, okay? So the hand on the floor tom plays with the bass drum, your left hand still plays the snare. Okay, you're going to play that pattern then for 7 bars. Then we get on the 16th bar, we get our crash, rest, bake beans, fire engine. Yeah? Crash, rest, 3 and 4 E and D. Okay, so whichever way you want to count it, it's up to you. Then we get into the guitar solo. And the guitar solo gets interesting, okay? So we're going to play an 8th note groove, okay? So 8th notes are counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? And we're going to play all of our 8th notes on the hi-hat with our right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Underneath beats 1 and the and, we're going to play the bass drum, so we get 1 and. Okay, so you got the hi-hat playing over the top of the bass drum, 1 and. Then we get a snare drum and hi-hat together on beat 2, and then we get an and on the hi-hat. Okay, so it'll sound like this, 1 and 2 and. Okay, so that sounds like 1 and 2 and then what happens, it just repeats again, so we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the second half of that groove is just bass drum on 3 and snare on 4 and a hi-hat on the and. So if we put all those together, it sounds like this. One bar sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, without me counting over the top. Okay, so at 80 beats per minute, how's it sound? So that's how it sounds at tempo. You're gonna have to break it down, play it slowly and build it up, okay? So remember, this hi-hat does not stop and it should always be playing over the top of the bass drum and the snare, okay? If you start noticing that you're stopping your hi-hat when you're playing your bass drum or you're stopping your hi-hat when you're playing your snare, you're gonna have to try and correct that, and they fall together, okay? So you get bass drum with a hi-hat, and snare drum with a hi-hat, and a hi-hat on its own, okay? That's one half of a bar. If you repeat it, you get one whole bar, okay? So when we're on that first line of the guitar solo, bar 17, 18, and 19, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th line down on our page, where it says guitar solo, we're gonna play 3 bars of that groove. Play that 3 times, okay? And then we get to this 4th bar, and there's a kind of, it's like a fill bar, but it's just more of an interesting bar which works with the hits in the song, okay? And this 4th bar, you have 1 and with the bass drum and hi-hat together, so 1 and. On beat 2, we get the snare drum and crash together. That first half of the bar will sound like this. 1 and 2. Okay, so speed it up. And then it repeats, so we get basically the first half of the bar just repeats again. So we get 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Sped up. With the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practice that slowly. The trick is your left hand should play the snare, your right hand plays the crash, okay? And you move your right hand from the hi-hat up to the crash and then back down, up to the crash. Okay, moving to the final line of the guitar solo, bar 21, we go back to our groove. So the right hand's on the hi-hat. Okay, so back to that normal groove. Remember, we're loud. I played it quieter there, but so that's your groove on that bar 21. Then we move to the next bar. Okay, so bar 22 is basically a combination of the groove, and on beat 4 you get the snare and the crash together. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A bit slower. 1 and 2 tempo. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay? So you're going to have to place that in together. You're going to have to work on placing the groove and then moving your hands up to play the crash and the snare together on beat 4. Okay, we've got the final 2 bars of We Will Rock You. Okay, the last final line, and it's the bottom right hand corner, bars 23 and 24. Okay, so 23 is another bar of groove. And that's the grooves that we've played before and practiced before at the start of the guitar solo. So that's 23, okay? And then bar 24 is a combination of the groove, but we've got an extra snare drum on beat on the and of 3. So that final bar, it's gonna go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you get that and 4, okay? So let's break it down slowly. So we get 1 and 2 and 3. So that and 4 is the hi-hat and snare drum together, so it goes and 4. Okay, so if I put the bar before it, bar 23, together with bar 24, you can hear how it goes. At tempo at 80. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so break down the parts that I've just taught you, okay? Take them separately, practice them slowly if you have to, build it up, then put them together in the sections, practice the section through. Then once you practice the section, put it together with the other section. And then before you know it, you'll be able to play from start to finish without any problems, okay? The main thing is you start slowly and then you build up, okay? One key thing before we finish the lesson is that when you're seeing this line with 2 dots either side, that means it's a repeat of the previous bar. Where you've seen a bar of groove written out, where you're seeing the line and the 2 dots on the next bar, that means that you need to play that groove again.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace. Kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street. Gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you. All right.
Hopefully you found this lesson informative and useful. Use the techniques and how I've broken it down, practice them separately, then put it all together, and before you know it, you'll be able to play it all. Thank you for watching the video. It's been great teaching you today. Follow, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos on initial grade and other topics, rudiments, groove work. I'm going to start doing more and more and more. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you very much and see you soon.